Story 1. The Chat Room That Predicted Death. My name is Jordan. I'm a night owl, always have been. I work from home, I live alone, and I tend to scroll the internet when the rest of the world is asleep. One night, around 3 a.m., I found myself wandering into strange corners of the internet. The kind of places where the lines between curiosity and danger blur. I'd been on the deep web before, mostly out of boredom, never for anything illegal. But this night felt different, heavier. I came across a forum I'd never seen before. The title was in glitchy red text, Obituary Watch. Curious, I clicked. The layout was basic, black background, red typewriter-style text, and one active chat room. The description read, names and dates, nothing more, don't ask questions. Inside the chat, there were only about 15 users. Every few minutes, someone posted a single message. User 1987, Marcus Hensley, August 12th, 2028. Nightcrawler, Dr. Lena Moore, July 3rd, 2025. Null Void, Arthur Bell, June 30th, 2025. No context, just names and dates. I assumed it was a morbid role play or edgy prank. Still, something about it gave me goosebumps. Then someone posted, Last Breath, Jordan Wells, July 18, 2025. My full name, my real name. I stared at it. I hadn't used my real name anywhere on the deep web. I never even registered accounts. And this site didn't require logins. How did they know who I was? I closed the browser immediately and shut down my laptop. I tried to brush it off. Maybe a coincidence. Maybe someone else out there had the same name. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I searched online for the names I had seen in the chat room. Most gave no results. But when I looked up Marcus Hensley, I found a local news article from Kentucky. He had been killed in a car crash. The date of death? August 12th, 2025. It was posted in the chat 5 days before the accident. Chills ran through my body. This wasn't a joke. This chat room was real, and it predicted deaths, including mine. I didn't go back to the chat room for a few days, but I kept checking the names. Every single one ended up dead on the exact date listed. Some were accidents, others were heart attacks, a few were suicides. It didn't matter how, they just died. I went to the police. I told them someone had threatened me, gave them the website link, and asked them to look into it. But when they tried to open the page, it didn't load. Just a blank screen. To them, I looked like a paranoid loner, so I went back myself. And the moment I logged in, a new message appeared. Last breath. Still watching you, Jordan. My blood ran cold. I slammed my laptop shut again. My ears started ringing and my vision blurred. I felt like I was being watched through the screen. Over the next few days, strange things started happening. Someone knocked on my door at exactly 3:17 a.m. I didn't answer. When I checked the peephole, no one was there. I began receiving packages I hadn't ordered. A single black feather, a flash drive with no files, a folded note that read, "We're getting closer." I stopped sleeping. I covered my webcam with tape. I even considered leaving town. But I had no idea where to go. If these people, or whatever they were, could find my name, they could find me anywhere. I marked the date, July 18, 2025, my supposed death day. It was exactly 2 weeks away. That night, I logged back into the chat room. I had to see if the message was still there. The list of names had grown. Hundreds of entries now. But something new caught my eye. There was a link at the bottom that hadn't been there before. See your timeline. With shaking hands, I clicked it. It brought up a private page. My name at the top. Beneath it, a digital countdown clock. 13 days, 4 hours, 22 minutes, 16 seconds. Below that, it read, cause of death, asphyxiation, alone in your room. I slammed my laptop shut again. I started hyperventilating. What the hell was this? Over the next week, I became paranoid. I avoided people. I barely ate. I checked every corner of my apartment for hidden cameras or microphones. Then I remembered the packages, the flash drive. I plugged it into an old laptop, one I hadn't used in years. At first, it appeared empty. Then a file blinked into view. A video file. No title, just static. I opened it. The screen showed a grainy video of my apartment from an angle high up in the corner. My bedroom. The camera feed fast-forwarded. Hours of me sleeping. Then, at around 3:17 a.m., a figure appeared in the room. Not walking in, not crawling out of the closet. It just appeared. It was tall, thin, featureless, completely black, like a shadow with form. It stood by my bed and stared at me. Then it leaned down, placing what looked like a hand on my chest. The video froze, then glitched, then cut to black. I screamed. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt tight, just like in the video. I stumbled back, knocking over a lamp. I didn't sleep that night, or the night after. I set up security cameras, motion detectors, everything I could afford. But nothing happened. Then, July 17th arrived. The final day. I stayed up all night, baseball bat in hand, lights on, doors locked. I kept refreshing the countdown. It was ticking down to seconds now. 3, 2, 1, midnight. And nothing happened. I cried, laughed. Maybe I had beaten it. Maybe watching the video and taking action changed the outcome. I had survived the day. Or so I thought. At 3:17 a.m., the motion alarm in my bedroom went off. Then the lights went out. All of them. I couldn't see. I couldn't hear anything except my heart thudding in my chest. I ran to the bedroom with a flashlight, breathing heavily. The bed was empty, but the camera above the door, my own camera, was blinking red. It had recorded. I played it back, and there it was again. That tall, black figure, standing right beside my bed, watching me. Then it turned, looked straight at the camera, and smiled. I passed out after that. When I woke up, it was morning. Sunlight streamed in, the power was back, the cameras were off, the chat room was gone. I tried accessing it from different devices, different networks, but it had vanished. No traces, No evidence, not even cached history, just gone. It's been 3 months since then. I'm still alive, but I don't feel safe. Because sometimes, at exactly 3:17 a.m., I hear a knock at my door, and when I check my email, I see messages like, "We adjusted your timeline. You were fun to watch. Some survive, but no one escapes." I moved across the country, changed my name, new job, new life. But I still cover my webcam every night. I still leave the lights on. And I haven't opened a laptop in weeks because deep down, I know one day I'll see that countdown again. And next time, there won't be an extension. Story 2. The live feed in my bedroom. My name is Elena. I'm 26 years old, single, and I live alone in a small studio apartment on the edge of the city. I've always been careful about my privacy. My doors stay locked, my windows shut, and my webcam has a little sticker over it. I work from home as a virtual assistant, so I spend a lot of time on the internet. But I never dig too deep. At least, I didn't. Until a friend changed everything. One night, my friend Alex messaged me. "Hey, wanna see something creepy?" "Of course," I replied. "Sure. What is it?" He sent me a link. It didn't look like a normal website. No .com, .org, nothing like that. Just a string of random letters and numbers ending with onion. "Dark web?" I asked. "Yep, but it's just a stream. Not illegal, I promise," he said. I hesitated. I'd heard horror stories about the dark web, hitmen for hire, organ markets, creepy videos you can't unsee. But I trusted Alex. He wasn't the type to mess with truly dangerous stuff. So I clicked. The page loaded slowly, but eventually a video feed appeared. It showed a small bedroom, white sheets, wooden nightstand, a digital alarm clock glowing red. Nothing unusual. Until I realized something chilling. It was my room, the bed, the blanket, the crooked lampshade. I recognized every detail, even the tiny crack in the wall near the ceiling. I gasped and slammed my laptop shut. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling, trying to calm myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe the room just looked similar. That had to be it, right? But something deep in my gut told me the truth. That was my room. I texted Alex the next morning. "What the hell was that link?" "What do you mean? Just some creepy stream." "That's my room. My exact room." His reply took longer than usual. "Are you serious?" Dead serious. He went quiet for hours. Then he messaged again. "Check your closet, top corner." My heart was racing as I slowly stepped toward my closet. It's just an old sliding door closet, nothing fancy. I stood on a chair and ran my hand along the top inside corner. My fingers touched something hard, cold. A camera, tiny, hidden in the wood paneling. I yanked it out and dropped it to the floor like it was alive. Who the hell put that there? I hadn't had any visitors in months. No landlord inspections. No maintenance guys. How long had that thing been recording me? I stared at it, heart pounding. Someone had been watching me. That night, I stayed awake with every light in the apartment turned on. I pulled my desk chair against the front door. I even held a kitchen knife in my hand while I sat on the couch. But the worst part wasn't knowing the camera was there. It was wondering if there were more. The next day, I asked Alex to send me the link again. I wanted to be sure. The stream was still live. And yes, there I was, sitting on the couch, holding a knife, eyes darting around like a paranoid freak. But something new had been added. A chat window on the side. People were watching. Dozens, maybe hundreds. And they were commenting. She's scared now. Cute when she's panicking. Wait till 3 a.m. Bet she cries tonight. I slammed the laptop shut again and ran to the bathroom to throw up. I wasn't just being watched. I was being broadcast. Like a twisted version of a reality show. I called the police. I told them someone had hacked into my apartment and was live streaming my life. They sent someone over within the hour. 2 officers, polite but skeptical, did a quick sweep. They found nothing except the camera I had already removed. They said there was no sign of forced entry, no wires, no other devices. Could have been planted when you weren't home, one said. I laughed. I'm always home. They took the camera for evidence, but left without much hope. I'd suggest covering any suspicious areas, the other officer said, just to feel safer. Feel safer? I felt like I was being hunted. The next few days were worse. The stream was still up, and now it had a title. The Girl in 4C 24/7. They gave me a nickname, a label. New comments appeared constantly. She sleeps in the same position every night. She sings in the shower, terrible voice, LOL. I saw her cry this morning. Must have found another camera. The worst part, they knew things I never said aloud. She misses her dad. Died in 2020, right? Wish she'd call her sister. She's lonely too. How did they know? It was like someone had access to my emails, my texts, my memories. I ripped my apartment apart looking for more cameras. I found 3 more. One in the smoke detector, one under the kitchen cabinet, one inside my lamp. I called the police again, showed them the stream, the comments, the new cameras. They seemed disturbed this time. They took everything. But that night, the stream was still live, still streaming. And then the comments changed. Police didn't help, huh? Nice try. You can't escape the feed. I decided to leave. I packed a suitcase, booked a hotel, and left in the middle of the night. I didn't tell anyone where I was going, not even Alex. The hotel was quiet, clean, safe. I checked the link again. The room was empty. My apartment was dark. Finally, I thought, I'm gone. I'm safe. But then the stream changed. The camera cut to a new location. A hotel room. My hotel room. The same bedspread, same wallpaper, same tiny nightstand with a lamp. I dropped the laptop. They knew. They were still watching. The next day, I checked out and went off-grid. I bought a prepaid phone. I ditched my laptop. I stayed at cheap motels and used cash only. I didn't check the stream for a week. Then I made a mistake. I logged in using a public library computer. The stream loaded instantly. Welcome back, Elena. The feed now showed a dark, windowless room. And in the middle of that room, a chair. A chair with straps. The chat exploded. It's almost time. The finale is coming. Hope she's ready. My blood froze. What finale? That night, someone slipped a note under my motel door. It was typed. No handwriting. You were more popular than expected. They want more. Tomorrow, 3 a.m. Be ready. I left immediately. I ran. I didn't even take my suitcase. That was 2 months ago. I haven't stopped running since. I never stay anywhere for more than a night or two. I sleep in my car sometimes. I don't go online. I don't use bank cards. But the messages still find me. They come in emails I didn't sign up for. They appear on my prepaid phone. Smile, Elena. We're always watching. You're our favorite. I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. I'm exhausted. I'm paranoid. I see cameras in every light bulb and every mirror. But I know one thing. If I stop running, if I let my guard down even once, I'll wake up in that room. The one with the chair. The one where the finale happens. And the watchers, they'll cheer. Story 3. The Red Market Refund. My name is Connor. I'm not proud of everything I've done in my life, but I've always tried to keep my hands clean, at least legally. I struggled for years with a rare kidney condition. The waiting list for a transplant was endless, and I was getting worse fast. My doctors told me I probably had less than a year unless I got a donor. My insurance didn't cover overseas treatment, and I couldn't afford private black market operations. At least, not the kind that pretended to be legal. But I was desperate. One night, a guy I knew from my college years, Reed, messaged me out of nowhere. We weren't close. He was always the sketchy type, smart, quiet, and always involved in weird tech stuff. Still dealing with that kidney thing? He asked. Yeah, getting worse. There's a place I know, real low-key, expensive, but they deliver. Deliver what? What you need. He sent me a link. It was a onion address, dark web territory. I hesitated. I'd heard horror stories about the red rooms, snuff films, and human trafficking. But when I clicked on the link, it opened to a site called The Red Market. No flashy graphics, just a blood-red background, plain white text, and a warning. For medical use only. Unauthorized orders will be rejected. They offered organs, livers, hearts, lungs. Prices listed beside each item. You could even reserve future donors if you paid in advance. Everything was handled with cryptocurrency. No names, no guarantees. I didn't want to believe it was real, but a part of me hoped it was, because I needed a kidney, fast. I made the payment. Every last bit of crypto I had, and a loan on top of that. The listing said, donor verified, delivery in 10 days, status processing. For a while, I felt relieved until day 7. That's when I got the message. Your order has been cancelled due to supply complications. Refund processing. I stared at the screen. Cancelled? This wasn't some Amazon order. I wasn't buying shoes. I was trying to stay alive. I clicked on the support chat. No response. Just an auto message. We regret the inconvenience. Your situation will be reviewed accordingly. I cursed. I kicked the table. That was my last chance. That was all the money I had. Then, on day 10, something happened. I woke up in my apartment, in my bed. But something felt off. The air smelled of alcohol and latex. My body ached. I had no memory of falling asleep. Then I looked down. My shirt was pulled up. My stomach hurt. There was a long, horizontal stitch across my lower right abdomen. It wasn't there the night before. My heart pounded. I rushed to the bathroom mirror, lifted my shirt. The wound was fresh, neat, professional. I sat down on the floor, dizzy, panicking. Someone had cut me open. I called 911, told them I was attacked in my sleep. The paramedics took me to the ER. The doctors were confused. The incision was clean, sterile, like it had been done in an operating room. I told them I didn't remember anything. They ran tests, took scans. That's when the surgeon looked at me with a confused expression. Mr. Avery, did you recently have kidney surgery? No, I said. Why? Because your left kidney is missing. I froze. It didn't make sense. My right kidney was the one failing, but the left one was gone. They took the healthy one. I passed out. When I woke up, the hospital staff were whispering in the hallway. They thought I was unconscious, but I heard one nurse say, "Who removes a perfectly healthy kidney and leaves the damaged one?" The cops came in later, asked questions. I gave them my story. I didn't tell them about the red market. What could I say? That I paid strangers on the dark web to mail me a kidney? They would have arrested me. So I kept quiet. I was discharged 3 days later, still in pain, still sick. Only now I had one kidney, and it was the broken one. I went back online. This time, I didn't wait for an answer. I accessed the Red Market site using a proxy chain and burner setup. I went straight to support and sent one message. You took the wrong kidney. For hours, nothing. Then, late at night, a message appeared. Delivery complete. Refund issued. And with that, my crypto wallet balance pinged. They'd refunded every penny, but no apology, no explanation, just cold, robotic efficiency. I told Reed. He freaked out. Dude, they're not supposed to do that. No one's ever gotten a refund before. They operated on me, in my home, while I was sleeping. That's not how it works, he said. They're supposed to use donors. You weren't supposed to be the donor. I felt sick all over again. I wasn't the customer anymore. I had become the product. Over the next few weeks, strange things started happening. I received packages, no return address. One contained a photo of me asleep in bed. Another was a single latex glove, folded and clean. The last one was a tiny blood vial labeled backorder sample, RMR K-4. I threw them away, but it kept getting worse. At night, I started hearing voices in my apartment. Soft, mechanical, whispering from my closet or beneath the bed. I installed cameras. Nothing showed up, but I kept waking up with new scars. Small ones, like someone had taken samples from my body while I slept. I even set up traps. Hair on the doorknobs, furniture in front of the door. Nothing was ever moved. It was like they never left, like they were always there. Reed stopped answering my messages. When I finally called him from a public payphone, a woman answered. "Reed isn't here," she said. "Who is this?" "Just cleaning up." She hung up. I never heard from him again. The final straw came last week. I was lying in bed, barely asleep, when I felt pressure on my chest. Not like sleep paralysis, real pressure. I opened my eyes. Someone was standing over me, dressed in surgical gear, masked, headlight on the forehead. He didn't flinch when I screamed. He just whispered, "Wrong kidney. Let's fix that." I blacked out. When I woke up, nothing was missing. No new scars, no blood. But beside my bed was a small package. Inside, there was a kidney. Preserved, sealed, with a handwritten note. "We regret the error. Thank you for your patience. It was mine. The one they took." I buried it in my backyard that night. I've since moved, changed my name, deleted everything digital I ever owned. But deep down, I know they're still out there, watching, waiting. Because when I lie down at night and close my eyes, I still hear the whisper, "Refund complete. See you next time." Would you like me to continue with story 4, the babysitter auction, next? You said, story 4, the babysitter auction. My name is Lacey. A few years ago, I was a broke college student trying to juggle my classes, rent, and a part-time job at a diner. It wasn't enough. I needed something extra, quick cash, no hassle. That's how I found myself scrolling through sketchy job boards at 2 a.m., desperate and tired. One post stood out. Overnight babysitter needed. Cash, $800 for one night. No phone calls. Must be discreet. No contact info, just a link. I hesitated. The post didn't mention a child's age, location, or anything normal, but I clicked anyway. It led to a private message board that looked old, almost like it hadn't been updated in years. Black background, white text, no branding, just a form to enter my name, age, and availability. Against my better judgment, I filled it out. Within 5 minutes, I received an email. "You've been selected. Address redacted. Arrive at 9 p.m. Payment in cash. Phones not allowed." It felt wrong. But $800 for a single night? I couldn't say no. I packed a small bag and took a bus to the address. It was a big, old house on the edge of town. Fenced yard, no lights on. The front door was already open when I arrived, like they were expecting me. Inside, it was silent. No TVs, no sound, no voices. Just dim lights and the faint ticking of a grandfather clock down the hall. A woman greeted me, pale skin, red lipstick, and a strange way of speaking, like she was reading from a script. She handed me an envelope with the cash and said, "The child is asleep. Do not disturb them. Stay in the living room, do not wander, and no phones." Then she left, just like that. No name, no questions, nothing. I was alone. The house felt too quiet. I sat on the couch, turned on a dim lamp, and tried to relax. But something felt off. There were no toys around, no signs of a kid at all. I didn't hear any movement upstairs. Just silence. After a couple of hours, I got bored and a little nervous. I pulled out my phone to check the time and immediately noticed I had no signal. No Wi-Fi either. When I turned on the flashlight and tried to peek around the hallway, I heard a mechanical click. Then a screen lit up in front of me. It wasn't there before. A panel in the wall had slid open, revealing a large flat screen. At first, it was just static. Then it displayed a live video feed of me, sitting on the couch. I stared at it, frozen. Below the video was a chat box. Messages began pouring in. "Nice girl. Sit back down, sweetheart. $1,000 starting bid." My mouth went dry. I realized what this was. It wasn't a babysitting gig. I was the one being watched. The chat was a dark web stream. Viewers were bidding for what? I didn't know. But it wasn't good. I stood up and backed away from the screen. Immediately, the messages changed. "Where do you think you're going? That's against the rules. Time for consequences." Suddenly, every light in the house turned off. Total darkness. I heard movement upstairs. Not footsteps, something heavier, like dragging. My heart pounded as I ran for the front door, but it was locked. The knob wouldn't even turn. I kicked it, screamed, pounded with my fists. Nothing. Then I heard it. A creak on the stairs. I turned and saw a figure descending. Not a child. It was tall, wearing a mask, white and featureless. Its arms were too long. It moved unnaturally, like its joints bent the wrong way. I ran into the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I could find. The house began filling with a low humming noise, like speakers vibrating from inside the walls. More messages appeared on a second screen in the kitchen. "Run, run, run. This one's a fighter. New highest bid, $4,800. I realized it wasn't a one-time stream. This was a show, a game, a live auction, and I was the main event. I sprinted toward the back door. Locked. I looked for a window. There was one above the sink. I grabbed a chair and smashed it against the glass. Nothing. It wouldn't break. Reinforced. The masked figure entered the kitchen slowly. I slashed at it with the knife, but it didn't flinch. Instead, it tilted its head, studying me, like it was amused. The humming got louder, my vision blurred. Then, just as suddenly as it started, everything stopped. The figure stepped back. The screens powered down. The lights turned on, and the front door swung open. A different woman stood there, blonde, smiling, holding a clipboard. "You did well," she said cheerfully. "Some of the highest engagement we've ever had." I couldn't speak. I just stared at her, breathing heavily, the knife still in my hand. "Take your money," she said, "and go. Don't look back." She tossed another envelope on the floor. I picked it up without thinking. Then I ran. I didn't stop until I was back in my dorm, shaking, covered in sweat. Inside the envelope was $5,000. No note, no explanation, just cash. I never told anyone, not the police, not my roommate, not Alex, my best friend, because I knew they wouldn't believe me. Who would? I tried to move on, but the nightmares never stopped. Worse, people began recognizing me. Once in the grocery store, a man stared too long. Another time, a woman on the subway whispered, "You were amazing," before vanishing into the crowd. I changed my number, switched campuses, deleted all my social media. But the emails still came. "Want to perform again? $10,000 for round 2. They keep asking for you. We never forget our stars." They knew where I was, always. Now I never answer strange job ads. I don't even go out alone after dark, because deep down, I know they're still watching, and one day, I'll be back on that couch. Only, this time, there won't be an escape. 5. The Sleep Experiment Files. My name is Noah. I've always had trouble sleeping. Since I was a kid, my nights were filled with tossing, turning, and a constant heavy pressure in my chest. Doctors diagnosed it as chronic insomnia and prescribed all kinds of pills. They helped a little, but never for long. I eventually gave up trying to sleep like a normal person. Instead, I spent my nights online, watching videos, reading forums, or just looking for weird stuff to pass the time. I'd seen a lot of creepy things online, but nothing ever really stuck with me. Until the night I found something I was never supposed to see. It was around 3:30 a.m. I was browsing a low-traffic subreddit about unexplained files and lost media. Someone had posted a link to an archive on the dark web. The title caught my eye. Classified REM State Behavior Monitoring, Sleep Experiment Files, 2008, Wednesday. There was no description, no warning, just a zip file and a short comment beneath it. "You won't sleep after this." I should have ignored it, closed the tab, and gone on with my night. But of course, I clicked. The zip file took a while to download. When it finally opened, it revealed dozens of videos, all labeled with codes, names like REM043, Subject A12, Session 06, and so on. Curiosity got the better of me. I clicked the first file. It opened with security footage from what looked like a lab. Cold, sterile, lit by flickering fluorescent lights. In the center of the room was a bed. A man lay strapped to it, electrodes taped to his forehead and chest. A timestamp in the corner read, May 14th, 2011, 02:06 a.m. At first, he just lay there, eyes closed, breathing slow. Then something happened. He started to move, twitching violently. His arms jerked against the restraints, his back arched. His mouth opened wide like he was screaming, but no sound came out. Then suddenly his eyes opened, fully, wide, but they were pitch black. No whites, just endless dark. The footage glitched for a moment. When it came back, the man was sitting up, still strapped down, but upright. His mouth moved, but the video had no audio. He looked directly at the camera. Then the screen went black. I blinked, stunned. It didn't feel like a fake. The footage had that gritty, institutional quality. The camera angle, the patient ID number, it all seemed too real. I opened the next video, then another, and another. Each showed a different person. Same setting, same straps, same black eyes, same blank stares into the camera. Some of them began to speak during their episodes. Others cried. One even bit off their own tongue. In one clip, a man thrashed so hard, the metal bed broke. These weren't just sleep studies. These were experiments. Then I found a video labeled Subject NB17, Session 03. At first, it didn't seem any different. Another man on the bed. More wires, more silence. But this time, when he opened his eyes, I felt something different. His face, his jawline, the small mole above his lip. It all looked familiar. Too familiar. I paused the video and zoomed in. It was me. Or at least, someone who looked exactly like me. Same build, same haircut, same birthmark on the neck. I stared at the screen for a full minute, my heart thudding. I didn't remember ever participating in a sleep study. I never volunteered for medical testing. But this was me. I was certain of it. The timestamp said the footage was from 2015, the same year I was hospitalized for severe sleep paralysis. I remembered being groggy and confused, waking up in a strange room for a few hours before being sent home. My doctor had said it was likely due to stress and dehydration. Now, I wasn't so sure. I opened the video again and let it play. This version of me, NB17, lay there, twitching. Then his eyes opened. They were pitch black. He didn't scream, didn't fight the restraints. He simply smiled. Then he whispered something. Even though there was no sound, I could read the lips. He's watching. The screen cut to black. I felt sick. I checked the file name again. Then the metadata. The folder had logs, detailed records of participants, session notes, and progress reports. My initials were listed. NB17. Date of birth? Correct. Medical history? Accurate. Insomnia classification? Exactly what I had. I wasn't just a lookalike. I was part of this. I kept reading. The log said the experiments were part of a black-budget military research program. They called it Project Somnus. The goal was to study dream state consciousness, particularly in patients with long-term sleep disorders. But the further the studies went, the weirder the results became. Subjects reported seeing the same figure in their dreams, a tall shadow with no face, always standing in a corner. Some subjects began to predict events, plane crashes, lottery numbers, deaths, before they happened. But eventually, the subjects started losing their ability to tell dreams from reality. Some never woke up at all. They were labeled permanent dreamers, and they were kept alive, just strapped to beds, breathing, their eyes black and wide, forever watching something no one else could see. I scrolled further and found one last file. A video titled NB17 Final Session. I played it. It showed me again, strapped to the bed. But this time, I wasn't asleep. I was awake. Awake and screaming. There was sound this time. I screamed, "Get him out of my head! He's watching me from inside!" Then I started laughing. A high-pitched, unnatural laugh. My eyes rolled back, and I whispered something. The final words in the video. "He's coming for you next." The screen went black. My hands were shaking. My forehead was wet with sweat. I looked around the room, suddenly terrified. Every shadow felt alive. Every reflection in the glass shimmered strangely. Then I heard a voice, not in the room, in my head. A whisper, "Sleep now." I bolted out of my chair, turned off the computer, and unplugged everything. I smashed my router and threw my hard drive into the trash. But it was too late. I had watched the files. I had remembered. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't slept since. Every time I close my eyes, I see that room, that chair, that bed, and him. The faceless figure, standing in the corner, inching closer each time. I don't know if it's a memory or a dream, or both. But I do know this. He's real, and he's coming back. Story 6. Welcome to the murder game. My name is Chris, and I used to play a lot of online games. Not the regular kind, like Fortnite or Call of Duty. I liked weird stuff. Obscure games. The ones hidden in forums or spread through invite-only Discord servers. They were usually half-finished, buggy, or totally bizarre. One night, I was in a private server chatting with other horror game fans when someone posted a file link. New ARG just dropped. Super immersive. Real-time decisions. No saves. Called The Murder Game. There was no trailer, no description. Just a link to a file with a warning. Play at your own risk. Once you start, you can't quit. I laughed. It sounded like a gimmick. But curiosity got the better of me, like always. I downloaded the game. It installed fast. The icon on my desktop was a blood-red mask. No title. I double-clicked it. The game launched in full screen without a menu. Just darkness. Then a distorted voice spoke. "Welcome, Chris." I froze. It knew my name. I hadn't entered anything. The voice continued. "Tonight, you play the killer. Someone nearby has been marked. Complete your task by dawn, or be eliminated." I thought it was clever. Creepy immersion. Maybe it pulled my name from my PC. Then the screen showed a map. My neighborhood. Street names, houses, my exact address, blinking in red. I wasn't laughing anymore. The screen zoomed in on another house, 2 blocks away. A green dot blinked on it. Target, Isaac M., 34 years old, lives alone, currently asleep. Timer started. And then A countdown appeared. 5 hours, 59 minutes. I stared at the screen. Was this a prank? Some messed up alternate reality game? I looked up the address. It was a real house. I even checked Google Maps. Everything matched. The game was silent now, waiting. A prompt appeared. Choose your method. It offered options. Knife, blunt object, poison, strangulation. I didn't click anything. My hands were sweating. Then a new message appeared. Refusal to play equals disqualification. Disqualification equals death. I thought maybe it was just more immersion, a joke. But then my phone buzzed. I didn't recognize the number. The text read, "You're wasting time, Chris." I dropped my phone. I hadn't connected it to the game. I turned off the computer and unplugged it. I grabbed my phone and ran to the kitchen. I was breathing hard, heart racing. Every sound in the apartment made me jump. Then I heard a knock at the door. It was soft, careful, like someone didn't want to wake the neighbors. I didn't move. After a minute, the knock came again. I peeked through the peephole. Nobody was there. But on the floor, someone had left a small box. I waited for a long time before opening the door. Inside the box was a mask, red, plastic, just like the game icon. And beneath it, a printed photo of me sitting at my desk, staring at my screen. Someone had taken that photo minutes ago. I hadn't heard anyone, hadn't seen anyone, but they were watching me. I plugged my PC back in. The game resumed. The timer hadn't stopped. You have 4 hours, 48 minutes remaining. I chose the only option that seemed like it wouldn't hurt anyone. Poison. Immediately, the game gave me instructions. There's a delivery service nearby. Order a pizza. Address 41 Lincoln Drive. Pizza code black sauce. I followed the instructions just to see if it would go through. I opened a local pizza place's website and entered the order. There was a box for special instructions. I typed black sauce. Order accepted. Then the screen updated. Poison sent. Await confirmation. I felt sick. This was real. Or at least, it acted real enough to scare the hell out of me. I looked up Isaac M. He had a public profile on Facebook, worked in IT, had a cat named Benny. Nothing strange, nothing evil, just a regular guy. The timer ticked down. Then the screen changed. Delivery confirmed. Then 5 minutes later, target is vomiting. Target is calling 911. Target survived. You failed. Then the voice came back. You wasted your chance. Now it's your turn. Suddenly, the map zoomed back to my apartment. My address turned green. The timer reset. You have 1 hour to prepare. I closed the game again, deleted every file, wiped my system, but the timer stayed on the screen. My desktop was now locked. No matter what I did, it stayed. 55 minutes remaining. I called the police, told them someone had threatened me, sent pictures. They came over and checked the apartment, took my statement. But there was nothing they could do about a game on the internet. They thought I was overreacting. After they left, I checked the game again. The countdown was at 22 minutes. And then the power went out. The apartment went completely dark. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. My phone had no signal. I tried to leave, but my door wouldn't open. It was like something was holding it from the outside. I started to panic. Then I heard it, footsteps in the hallway, slow, heavy. I held the knife tight and stood against the wall, barely breathing. A shadow passed the door, then another. Then silence. The power flicked back on, and my computer screen showed one final message. Round complete. Well played. The countdown was gone. The next morning I checked the news. There was a report. Local man found dead in his apartment after food poisoning incident. Foul play suspected. It was Isaac M., the guy from the game. He had died anyway. The game hadn't lied. Whether I played or not, someone was going to die. And the next round might be me again. That night, a new file appeared on my desktop. No icon, no name. Just the words. Player 2 has entered the game. Story 7, The Final Room. My name is Evelyn. A few months ago, my younger brother Jamie vanished without a trace. No note, no signs of struggle, no evidence. One day he was home playing games in his room, and the next day he was gone. The police opened a missing persons case, but they had nothing to go on. I couldn't accept that. I knew something was wrong. Jamie wasn't the kind of kid to just run away. He was only 17, quiet and smart. A little too into technology maybe, but never reckless. So I started digging. I broke into his computer one night, trying to find anything, texts, emails, clues. Most of it was normal, memes, Discord chats, YouTube history. But then I found a strange folder tucked inside a maze of hidden directories. It was labeled The Final Room. Inside were video files, all unlabeled, just numbers. I clicked the first one. It showed a white room, bright lights, no windows, no doors, just a chair in the center and someone tied to it. A boy. At first, I didn't realize who it was. His head was down. He wasn't moving. But then he looked up, and my heart nearly stopped. It was Jamie. I watched in horror as a voice, deep, robotic, distorted, began to speak. Welcome, subject 0147. You've been selected for observation. You may not leave the final room unless you follow the rules. Jamie looked terrified. He tried to speak, but no sound came out. The video had no audio, just subtitles burned into the screen like an old security feed. Rule 1. Do not close your eyes. Rule 2. Do not answer when it speaks. Rule 3. Do not look at the mirror. A mirror? There wasn't one in the room. Then, on the wall behind him, a square appeared. Slowly, a mirror pushed out of the wall like a sliding panel. It was black and empty at first. Then a shadow moved inside it. Jamie turned to look, curious. I screamed at the screen, "No, don't look." But of course, he couldn't hear me. As soon as he faced the mirror, the screen glitched. For a split second, the video cut to static. Then it resumed. Only now, Jamie was no longer tied to the chair. He was just gone. The mirror was gone too. The only thing left in the room was the chair, spinning slowly. I clicked another file. This time, a girl was in the room. Someone I didn't recognize. She also looked scared. She sat in the same chair. The same voice spoke. "Welcome, subject 0150. Different rules this time. Rule 1, do not scream. Rule 2, do not leave your seat. Rule 3, do not speak unless spoken to." She broke all 3 rules. She screamed immediately. The walls began to pulse, literally throb like muscle. She stood up and tried to run, but there were still no doors, no escape. When she spoke, the room went pitch black, and then nothing. The screen turned black. Another name vanished. There were dozens of these videos, all from different angles, all different people, different rules. Each one ended the same, with a disappearance. I began to notice something disturbing. Each file had a date attached. They were uploaded live, meaning they were still recording, still happening. And the last file in the folder, it was labeled Next. I hesitated, then clicked it. The feed was live, black screen at first. Then it lit up. The chair appeared, the white walls, no door, no window. But this time, it wasn't someone tied up. It was a blank room, empty. Then text appeared. Final room awaiting subject 0158. And then, "Evelyn, you've been chosen." I nearly dropped the laptop. My name was on the screen. Not just my first name, my full name. Spelled perfectly. Then a countdown appeared. 00:59:58. 1 hour. I slammed the laptop shut. I tried deleting the file. Nothing happened. I unplugged the laptop. The screen stayed on. The timer kept ticking. I started to panic. My hands were shaking. I threw the laptop in the bathtub and turned the water on. The screen flickered, but didn't go out. Still counting down. I grabbed my phone, called the police. Told them someone was threatening me, that someone had taken Jamie. They sent an officer to my apartment. He knocked once, then walked right in without waiting for me to answer. That's when I knew. He wasn't a cop. He didn't say a word. He walked straight to the bathroom, pulled the laptop out of the water, and stared at it. Still counting down. 00:32:10. He looked at me, smiled faintly, and said one sentence. "You've been selected." Then he walked out, leaving the soaked laptop in my sink. I ran. I left my apartment with nothing but the clothes on my back. I didn't know where I was going. Just away. But it didn't matter. Wherever I went, the countdown followed. It showed up on gas station TVs, on a stranger's smartwatch, even in the reflection of car windows. I couldn't escape it. When the timer hit 0, I was sitting in the back of an abandoned bus in a parking lot, shaking and alone. The world went silent. Then everything went white. I don't remember what happened next. I woke up in a chair, bright lights above me, white walls, no doors, no windows. A mirror slowly slid out from the wall, and the voice returned. Welcome, subject 0158. The rules began to appear. Rule 1, do not remember. Rule 2, do not resist. Rule 3, do not return. I shut my eyes. When I opened them again, I was back. On the street, middle of the night. Just back. No one believed me. Not the police, not my parents, not even my therapist. But I know what happened, because now I can feel it inside me. The mirror, the chair, the voice. They're still there. And at night, sometimes when I dream, I see it again. That final room, waiting,